This is FestivalPass Stories, a podcast series is told by the people who create and make festivals come to life. You will go behind the stage, kitchen, or studio door to hear the stories of passion and inspiration that started some of the world's most beloved festivals. Hear the startup stories and how an idea went from what if to what's next. All right, friends, welcome back to the FestivalPass Stories podcast. We are presented, as always, by Dos Hombres, the award-winning artisanal mezcal, meant to be shared, created by Aaron Paul, Brian Cranston, and Mezcalerio Gregorio Velasco. Have a drink with us at doshombres.com/delivery. Hey, and get some merch. Got to get the merch, right? merch.doshombres.com. And ever want to have the opportunity to invest in a product early that could be the next Airbnb? We'll learn why entrepreneurs and celebrities with exits approaching $10 billion have already invested in Festival Pass. Go to invest.festivalpass.com to learn more. Now, Festival friends, it's very exciting, but it also makes me sad when I have a guest on like we have today. Why sad? Because we only get an hour or even less probably to talk. And look, we could do this all day. So let's not mess around. Friends, it is a pleasure to welcome to the FestivalPass Stories podcast, the Chief Communications Officer and SVP of Social Responsibility for Southern Glazer's Wine and Spirits. That is a mouthful, but most importantly, right now, the organizer of the inaugural, it's very exciting, the inaugural Nassau Paradise Island Wine and Food Festival at the Atlantis, presented by the Atlantis. It is Lee Schrager. Lee, what's happening?
Hey, good to see you.
Thanks for being here, man. Look, I can't wait to discuss the Nassau. Yeah, and I can't wait to discuss the Nassau Paradise Island Wine and Food Festival, but I need you to take me back. South Beach Wine and Food Festival, or as the cool kids call it, I'm not one of them, but SOBE Wine and Food Festival. What was the moment when you said, I've got this idea? And when was it when you said, we have to do this? We have to make this happen?
It was probably, if this is our 22nd year, it was probably about 23 years ago. And I had gone to Aspen to attend the Aspen Food and Wine Classic that's put on by Food and Wine magazine. And I remember being on the plane on the way home and saying, wow, that was a fantastic weekend, but it would be even better doing something like that on, the most beautiful beach in the world, South Beach, at the worst time in the year for everybody else but South Beach. And it was really just an idea I had. And by the time I landed, I had all these notes and people I was going to follow up with. I don't even think there was email at that time, 23 years ago. I seem to remember writing notes. So I think that's long before, very shortly before email. So it was really done, in longhand how it started.
Yeah, phone calls. So for the, this is Festival Pass. So for the young people watching, listening, yes, we used to have something called a Rolodex, and you would file through it with your hand, and you would actually pick up the call, usually hitting, not a cell phone, but an actual landline phone, and call people. Yeah. And this festival, of course, products have been launched here. Good chefs come out of this being great chefs. What is it about that festival environment? Maybe it's the beach, maybe it's the front facing of the consumer with the chef and he's out of the kitchen or she's out of the kitchen. But what is it that really brings out the best in these chefs in those environments like a SOBE Wine and Food Fest?
Everything you just said. I mean, it really was the first festival of its type that combined, the TV personalities from the Food Network and Cooking Channel, along with the white tablecloth Michelin star chefs, where you got to be up close and personal with them. You got to touch them, so to say. And it was on the most beautiful beach in the world in the middle of winter. So I think we had everything going for us. We kind of rode the wave of the success of the Food Network. They just started a few years before us. They're going to be 30 this fall. So they were probably just coming into its own 22 years ago when we started. And I think that when you take a great brand like the Network, you put it on South Beach in the dead of winter, I think you have a combination, to have a success. And when you get the talent like we have and that we've always been fortunate to have, it's a good year.
So you had the media partner in Food Network, but what was it like going for those first sponsors? And you're like, here's the idea. And they're like, no, I'm not in. Or were people just like, yes, I love it. You said that, chef. You said the Food Network. Let's do it.
Well, the Food Network wasn't involved in year one. They actually came involved, I think it was year 2 or 3, before the network actually got involved. So, early years, no, it was not easy to get talent. It was not easy to get sponsors. It was just kind of a dream. So it was kind of selling to somebody sand on a beach, and that's what we did. And
literally,
we had literally early partners like the city of Miami Beach and Moet Chandon and Gilly Cafe and Evian Water and great early partners. But it really was year 4 or 5 when we really started getting the big significant sponsors. Once word got out and people were aware of what we were doing.
Yeah. And I was mentioning products have launched there. That was really the launch of our sponsor here, Dos Hombres, Brian Cranston, Aaron Paul, and Gregorio. They really launched at South Beach Wine and Food Festival in February 2020. I mean, what a perfect time to launch a product, right? 2020, first quarter, and then next thing you know, it doesn't, the world falls apart.
Yeah, well, listen, luckily people were drinking a lot during COVID, and Dos Hombres is an extraordinary brand with great personalities associated with it. So they're such great partners and it's such a great product, such a great mezcal that, a lot of brands launched at South Beach over the years, not just wine and food and spirits, but, chefs were launched at South Beach over the years. New talent was launched. So I think it's been a win for everybody, whether it was a chef or whether it was a wine, a spirit, whether it was a food brand. It's a great platform. As Emerald says, it's kind of a spring break for chefs. So it's a great opportunity, and every agent in the country or sometimes the world is down at South Beach. So it's a good time if you're going to launch something.
Yeah, and they launched it then. They were back this year triumphantly with a huge presence. I didn't get the invite, but that's a conversation I can have with them another time. But that's got to feel good to know that this platform that has become this big success has also been the platform to launch so many other successes.
Well, listen, you want what you do and what you work for and what you're so committed to be successful. And the fact that not only is it successful for you and for our charity, meaning the Chaplain School of Hospitality, but when you realize what a launching ground it's been for great chefs and great talent and students who work there, the connections that they make. I mean, it really, to think that you're a part of creating something that's, done so much good for new brands, new chefs, new personalities, then it's a win for everybody.
And over the years, the SOBE and the New York Wine and Food Festival have raised over $50 million for charity. This is incredible. It's staggering when you think about that over a short period of time. And I'm representing my New York City wine and food glass right here, just drinking water out of it right now. But I got my tumblers from last year. Look, you've worked with some of the biggest chefs in the world, but is there a chef out there that you're still dying to work with, or one that just refuses to be part of the festival environment?
No, I'd have to say for the most part, over the 22 years in South Beach, I think we've had almost everybody I've ever wanted. If they said no year 1 or year 2 or year 3, sooner or later I got them. So, 15 years ago or 10 years ago, it wasn't the case. But, by year 22, I can't think of anybody that I've wanted that we really haven't had, in all honesty.
You're just turning them away at this point.
No, we don't turn it away. We don't take it for granted. I'd have to say it's, a lot easier today than it was 22 years ago, even than it was 5 years ago, as we get bigger and, more, visible. But at least when we're talking to agents or managers or the talent directly, they've heard of South Beach, wine and food.
Yeah.
When we started it, no one knew it. It was probably year 4 or 5 before people say, oh, yeah, I've heard about that. So, it's not easy to get talent, but it's easier than it was.
So after all the success in South Beach, you launched New York City Wine and Food Festival, 2008, 2009 area, right around there. Look, there's so many great things to do in New York. Were you thinking that perhaps a festival, a food and wine and food festival might just not be a big success in New York? Or was it something that you just knew that we're going to take this same model to New York and this thing is going to be a massive hit?
No, we didn't know it was going to be a massive hit. I mean, we hoped it would be a massive hit, but it's, New York is a much more 15 years ago, it was more sophisticated than when we started South Beach. And I think the expectations were greater in New York for us than they were in South Beach. We started South Beach from nothing. In New York, they didn't really have wine and food festivals like us, but there were other wine and food events. So there were certainly the playing, the stakes were higher for us in New York. It's it was more demanding a more demanding city at that time, and a better food city. So we had, more eyes on us. We had something to be compared to, unlike South Beach, we had nothing to be compared to at that time. So I'd have to say that New York was, I didn't launch New York until I was perfectly clear that South Beach was the success that I had wanted it to be, and hoping that New York would be the same.
It was standing on its own, and you said, this is now a franchise, and we're going to make this work in New York. I love it. Now, we were touching on this. You mentioned your charitable partners for a second. As SOBE and the New York City Wine Food Festival have raised a staggering $50 million for charity at these festivals. My main job is as an auctioneer. I work with all these different charity events across the U.S., Miami, L.A., New York, wherever, but based out of New York. And I know what it takes to raise that kind of money. And I know what it means for an organization to raise that kind of money. Some people for $50 million, that could take them a half a century. You guys have done it in a pretty short amount of time. I love the food and wine experiences. Whenever a client asks me, what's the best thing that's selling at an auction right now? It's always the food and wine experiences. And, I've sold them with Mark Murphy and so many other great chefs here in New York. But you have a partner in this, in God's Love We Deliver. How did you choose them as a partner? And how did that whole relationship come about?
I was aware of the work that God's Love We Deliver did. I was not involved with them. I didn't have a relationship with them, but I love the work. I love the mission. I love the work. I knew some board members of it, and I met with the organization, years ago, and just knew that they would be the right partner. And they have been. They've been great partners, and they really wanted a wine and food event. God's Love was really known for doing more fashion events, since Michael Kors is one of the big board members or the chairman of the board, and they did a lot of fashion-themed events. So being that they're a food-driven organization that's feeding people, they were looking for a great food event, and we were looking for a great partner, and it just it worked out.
Perfect. Yeah, I did an event with them out in the Hamptons. J. Crew, I think it was the head designer at J. Crew. It was his home, and they had this fabulous lawn party. Unbelievable. The second half of your job title is the SVP of Social Responsibility. We hear a lot these days about ESG, DEI, all these acronyms. So as the SVP of the SGWS and the VIP that you are, when was that title added to your job duties, and what does that mean to the company today?
I've been with Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits, which is SGWS. When I joined them 25 years ago, it was Southern Wine and Spirits. In the last 8 years, it's become Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits, and we are the largest distributor of alcohol in the world. It's a privately held, family-owned business and operated business. It's still run by the family, and now the next generation of the family is coming into the business. And it's really a company that, although we have 22,000 employees, they still have that, I don't want to call it a mom and pop mentality, but their employees are the most valued asset. They really, their philosophy is to hire the best people and treat them well. And that's, something that's, well known throughout the industry. And their philosophy is giving back to the communities that they do business in. And, I've been really fortunate to head up the corporate social responsibility, CSR, division of the company for, many years now. And the festival is just one of the many ways that Southern Glazers gives back to the community, by raising funds in New York for God's Love, and by raising funds here in South Florida for the Chaplin School of Hospitality, Tourism, and Management.
Amazing. Love it. Now let's talk about the festival here. LeBron took his talents to South Beach after you took yours there. Now you're taking them even further south to the Bahamas. So let's talk about the inaugural Nassau Paradise Island Wine and Food Festival. Quite a mouthful, literally. It's presented by the Atlantis, and it's taking place at the iconic Atlantis. Why the Bahamas? Why is this the next location for this great food festival?
Well, just to be clear, the Nassau Paradise Island Wine and Food Festival really belongs to Atlantis. They're all friends of mine. I've been helping curate them, for this year, helping put it together, making introductions. It's a great market. It's, lots of our talent, don't want to continue the party from South Beach a few weeks later, down in the Atlantis. And, I've just kind of been guiding them along for the last few months, helping them lock in talent, helping them work on their programming. They have a great charity, a charity that they're supporting, Sea Life and the water in Atlantis, and Marine Life, I should say. Excuse me. Yeah. And they're just great people. They're all friends of mine. And it's been really easy and fun helping them put together. I've not created a new festival in almost 15 years, so it's really been exciting to kind of just give them input and guide them about how to create something of what people are looking for. And it's the most beautiful property, and I love Atlantis. I've been going there for 25 years, and the chefs are going to love it, and sponsors are loving it. And I think it's exciting to look at it today in the early first year, and then like South Beach, look at it where it will be in 5 years, and they have everything. They have a really committed food and beverage team. They have a great executive team who really want a key wine and food festival. And Atlantis has been a partner of South Beach. They've been sponsors of ours before. So it was really natural for me to want to help them and have friends, bring some friends down and have a great weekend, in March at one of the most beautiful resorts in the world.
Yeah. And for those of you who are finally recovering from South Beach Wine and Food Festival, hangover is gone. You've probably lost a couple of pounds. Now it's time to get back on the horse, get down there. So what kind of talent can we expect to see there? What chefs do you have lined up so far, or just a few of them at least?
Well, in the sense of network talent or, kind of TV personalities, Aaron Sanchez, Alex Guarnaschelli, Andrew Zimmern, Duff Goldman. Then, of course, some of the great Jose Andres is going to be down there, and Michael White and Alon Shaya. For a first-year event, these guys have done a remarkable job of focusing on their chefs at the property, who are Alon Shaya and Michael White's opening up a restaurant there. Jose Andres has a restaurant there. And then we kind of just help them bring in some of the other names. And it's really exciting to see something take off in a, smaller, it's a huge venue, but rather than using the entire beach and events all over town, it's, I don't want to say it's easy, but it's a lot easier when you have an amazing team and a support staff. And if you forgot something, you can just run into the hotel rather than being on the beach. Yeah,
exactly. It sounds like the best ticket to get for this is the VIP ticket. Please tell me there's some of those still available.
Listen, ticket sales have been extraordinary for a first-year event, even a 10th-year event. The sales have been crazy. There are still tickets available. If you go to the website for the Nassau Paradise Island Wine and Food Festival, it's the weekend of March 15th, I think 15th and 16th, that Thursday through Sunday. It's really going to be great. I have to say, the weather is great. The property is extraordinary. They're using fantastic venues there to really showcase the outdoors. And then you have some of the greatest chefs in the culinary world being there for the first time. So it's great for a first-year event to have that level of talent there.
All right, so I got to get my VIP tickets. How do I find them? Where do I go to buy these tickets? And how do we find you on social media as well?
Well, you can follow me on social media on Instagram. It's just my name, Lee Schrager, on Instagram. And in the sense of the Nassau Paradise Island Wine and Food Festival, you can Google that. You can follow them in social media. It's under NPIWFF. Again, NPIWFF. Follow them. They have a great new Instagram account. And again, you can go to Atlantis, Bahamas, and they'll direct you right to the festival. There are still tickets available. I think for almost every event. Some of the smaller events are selling out. We're very close to being sold out. But there's such a great lineup. There's something for everyone there that weekend.
When you go to these festivals, is there something that you look forward to more than any other activity, like the burger cook-off, for instance?
No, I look forward to seeing the talent of my friends. I love every event. I love whether it's burger or tacos or fried chicken or desserts or a tiki. Every event. I really don't have a favorite event. But what I really look forward to at any event that I'm doing is catching up with my friends. Sometimes I don't see them until another festival. So really just catching up with my friends. And then if you can catch up with your friends and have a great burger or taco or pizza, while doing it, what could be better? And some great cocktails and wine. There's nothing better than that in beautiful weather.
All right, friends. So to get your tickets, find out about VIP, to find out about all the great activities, go to NPIWFF.org. Again, NPIWFF.org. And you can also find them on Instagram the same way, NPIWFF, or you can just go to atlantisbahamas.com. It's right there, front and center on the website. And look, we got to get down there. Maybe we'll do a live broadcast from there, interview some of these great chefs. Lee, you're busy. This festival's around the corner. It's March 15th. Is that correct?
That is. Kicks off on the 15th.
So we got to get moving here. He's got lots of planning to do, so we're going to let him go. We'd love to see you down there. Go check it out, and we'll see you next time on FestivalPass Stories. Lee, thanks again.
Good to see you, Pat. Have a great day. See you down there.
This is FestivalPass Stories, a podcast series is told by the people who create and make festivals come to life. You will go behind the stage, kitchen, or studio door to hear the stories of passion and inspiration that started some of the world's most beloved festivals. Hear the startup stories and how an idea went from what if to what's next.